Hey guys, Springman117, welcome back to the channel and part 9 of my latest ultimate build, the Halo Infinite inspired Banished anti-aircraft gun. In part 8 you saw me for the first time piece together all three legs, the control room, and place the main gun on top. I also showed you the lighting features for the control room as well as the gun itself. And although this resulted in a relatively complete looking gun, there's still more to come. In part 9 you'll see what I decided to create for the power cells that sit on the ends of each of those legs, as well as the design for the stilts that raise the entire MOC up by a further 8 inches. So first up I created these power cells, which wasn't actually as straightforward as I thought it was going to be. As you can see here, I've created this kind of ventilation detail on the side. I've done it on both sides. Originally I didn't have that, it was just all grey, but it just looked too boring for me. When you see it in game on the trailer, there's none of this here. But again, it just looked boring, so I wanted to give it my own little take just to make it look a little bit more interesting. And again, these bits here with these vents here and all of this is just purely me making it interesting for me to build, because after all I did have to build 3 of them. And I'm starting to run low on parts, so I needed to make sure I was clever about which parts I was using. Obviously these bits here, translucent red, so we can put some more lighting units in there. On the top it's relatively simple again. I didn't feel the need to go overboard on the detailing on the top, but to access the lighting it's just on a hinge like that, so you can see it's just one big void in there, so I can put a battery pack in with LED lighting and then it shines in here, which I will show you in a bit. So in terms of where it attaches, it's relatively undetailed underneath, but you don't see a huge amount of it. So anyway, this was the final design I went for. Now I'll show you it on one of the legs. And there it is on one of the legs. As you can see, it is quite large, but I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. It's not exactly game accurate, but none of this MOC is. And when the lights are on, it looks pretty special. So once I'd finalized this design, I just had to make 3 more, which was definitely a lot more time consuming than I wanted it to be, and it was definitely a little bit boring. There's the second one, and the third one is on the other leg. So once I'd created all 3 power cells, I decided to fit one to each of the legs so I could see what it actually looked like, because you don't really know if you've got it right or not until you've actually fitted them to the MOC. Thankfully, I was pleased with the end result because I didn't want to have to do them again. In terms of scaling and size, I think I got that quite right. The dimensions are okay, obviously not accurate, but I'm sure you'll agree by this footage here, it definitely adds to the gun rather than detracts from it. Because at this point, if I get something wrong, it really is going to ruin all the hard work so far. So once I was confident that this was all okay, it was then time to decide what to do next, which was the stilts. As you can see by this picture here, I put quite a bit of detail into these stilts because I wanted them to be a feature of the MOC as well as being strong. I didn't just want pillars underneath these feet. They had to be appealing and they had to look functional as well. I wanted them to appear as if they could control the height of the gun depending on how even the terrain was that they were sat on. So again, these went through a number of rebuilds, but eventually I decided on this design, and I'm really pleased that I did, because once I incorporated that into the actual bottom of the legs, I couldn't have been more pleased with the end result. And once I finalized the design for that, it was just a case of duplicating it. Now I've only created 2 stilts at the moment, so what I wanted to do then was incorporate it onto a landscape, so the entire landscape with the stilt and the foot could be offered up to the control room individually, so it's still modular. So at the moment I've only got 1 foot complete, so I can't show you it all attached to the MOC, but what I can show you is what I've created so far, which gives you a bit of a taste for what's to come. And there you have it, guys. What do you think of that? Apologies for the poor quality of that by night footage. I'm using an iPhone and it has its limitations, but I still think you got the idea. You'll notice I had white light coming out from underneath the foot. I extended the lighting strip that comes from the power cell down through the foot to shine directly down beneath the foot, which I thought gave a really good effect. It looks much better in person. Like I say, the iPhone does have limitations, and unfortunately it doesn't really show the true quality of that effect. So nothing you see here is permanent in terms of the terrain. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what my end vision for this MOC is. I'm not sure I'll be able to go this intense with the foliage across the whole MOC, because I am limited with how many of those foliage pieces that I've got, so I'm going to have to get creative in how I make the whole thing look populated. But it is my intention to make it as detailed as possible, as always, which is what I'm going to get back to doing now. So I've got the 2 more sets of stilts to create with those 2 more landscapes, put them all on, and then I'm pretty sure I'll be back with another video shortly. Well, make sure to let me know what your favourite bit of this is. Did you prefer it by day or by night? Let me know if you've got any thoughts or comments on the terrain. I'm really pleased with it, but by all means feel free to share your thoughts. And until then, as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.